We're looking at reviews on Rate Your Music, the filthy cesspool that it is, and looking at reviews that I think are funny or interesting, or whatever I feel like. But then at the end, I'll be telling you what your favorite song says about you. A lot of you are weird, so... Who TF is Jimmy says, Drake stands are so funny because they have to pretend Kendrick Lamar of all people sucks. LOL. As someone who likes a decent amount of Drake's music,
I want to meet your madre, pay my respects to your padre.
I don't know if you can see it. If you're reading this, is at the top corner. I'll add Kendrick to the wall soon. Probably Good Kid or Damn first, but I do think it'd be kind of delusional to not be able to admit that Kendrick is a good artist too. Like, you're allowed to like both, it's okay. But there are definitely Drake fans who can't admit it, and which honestly is just a whole nother level of goofy. Like, maturing is realizing it's okay to like two different things that may, you know, like combat each other. Like, get his meat out of your mouth, bro. Same for Kendrick, all right? Get meat out of your mouth. Or if you're gonna have Drake's in there, put Kendrick's in your mouth too. I'm not hating on Drake or Drake fans, just those people. You might be one of those people. Get a grip. Not that, no. GNX was a surprise drop, and a damn good one at that. It's probably either my least favorite or second least favorite of Kendrick. That's a fair rating or assessment because getting in his top echelon of its discography is a hard feat. I'd put it above Section 80 and probably slightly above Untitled Unmastered, or maybe on the same level-ish. Or it's probably as good as Mr. Morale, but obviously for very different reasons. But that's not to say it's bad by any means. I just absolutely adore Kendrick's discography. You know, as one does, it's natural. It seems like with every new release, Kendrick pushes his own boundaries for his own music. And he does that excellently here on GNX. A short, sweet album full of bangers and a couple of all-time great Kendrick tracks. You know, the first time I listened to it, or I guess after like the second listen, I never thought about some of these songs will be like all-timers in his catalog. Probably because when I hear the songs, I just think about the big moment of the year he's having so far, and last year too. And the songs that are popping right now are just a reflection of like the landscape of like the culture, like as it is right now, more so than the songs will have like a super long shelf life and will age super well. But yeah, some of these will become some of his best, so good job, Jimmy. Technetium exclaims, I'm not really a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. I think he's a bit overrated. The thing about opinions is that you're allowed to have them, right? Everybody has their own opinions about different things, but that doesn't mean they're right or we need to hear it at all. But you're listening to mine because it is right. But in this case, with the funny man yelling in his hotel room, he is kind of the guy who does get glazed, especially now. But even if you don't like him, you'd be kind of wrong to deny him. It's like that one kid in school that you don't like, that you don't really have a reason to, but deep down you know that they are like talented or skilled at something, but you're just a hater. That's kind of how it is with Kendrick at this point. I don't hate him though. I think for contemporary hip-hop, there are many more interesting artists such as JPEG Mafia, POS, or Little Sims. That's actually pretty fair to say, to shut those artists out. I think more people should listen to JPEG Mafia. I haven't actually heard a lot of Little Sims or POS, so I can't speak on that, but I'm sure they're good too. But JPEG came out with his deluxe, so listen to it. I haven't heard it yet. But even taking that into account, this album is less than I thought it would be. Damn, he must have had super high expectations because this was a random drop. Don't get me wrong, it has some good moments on here and there. Okay, at least he likes some of it. We're getting somewhere. But overall, his previous albums could at least say they had a lot of heart in them. It's a little disingenuous to say this album has no heart when there's songs like Reincarnated and Gloria on it, but let's hear them out. This, I just don't get that one from this one. It feels stale in a lot of places. So you wouldn't feed ducks with it?
Wouldn't your whole shit stale, wouldn't feed ducks with it.
It didn't blow me away at first, but it's definitely a grower. And I think a lot of people write reviews about things after first watch or listen if it's a movie, which doesn't always make for the most thought out opinions in the world. Sometimes you need to give something more time before it clicks. All it takes is the right setting or headspace or mood that you're in, and all of a sudden you get it. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to a song and it's just okay. Not that it's bad, it just doesn't hit the same. And then randomly I'll get it. Here's some examples of that. Give stuff time before you label it. Timbu says, too hood for me. I mean, yeah, fair. I don't know what to say, fair. But I think we all know what kind of mom this person had. as a mom. And on this one, we have, after the Super Bowl, I decided to give this a try. Cool concept, and I like what he tried to do, just not really my thing. A couple of solid tracks though, in Squabble Up, TV Off, and Peekaboo. Luther though, whacked out murals, a loud, abrasive, in-your-face album, and yet the somber licks such as Luther are the highlights for me personally. Finally, some Luther love. Everybody loves it. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like one of the most streamed songs on it. Where are my Luther lovers at? GNX stamped 2024 as perhaps Kendrick Lamar's most successful year. Not perhaps. He's had the most streams he's ever had. He was the most talked about he's ever been. In the biggest beef in history. And he came out on top of that one. And then he confirmed he was going to perform at the Super Bowl. This would be the highlight of pretty much anyone's career, to be honest. One where he firmly cemented himself as this era's greatest of all time. Brother, we call those GOATs. Just say GOAT. Any conversation, including Drake or J. Cole, cannot be entertained, and it should be swiftly ignored. Okay, I don't know about swiftly, because that implies that they're not like, they don't have good stuff to like even come somewhat close, which is again a bit disingenuous. But I'll concede Mr. Gavin Peterson. To take it a step further, nobody in hip hop history has been this consistently dominant from an artistic standpoint. I guess so, maybe like Lil Wayne, but what is dominant art relevant? Is it just art that's like the most popular art? Because like I said, Wayne would be the most dominant if it's just like popularity wise and numbers and not just like the music aspect of it. So like, is it dominant art or is it just really good art? Because surely there is better art out there that just hasn't gotten discovered or isn't as big yet. Matter of fact, drop an album in the comments that you think is good art and just isn't super popular yet. I kind of want to see what you guys listen to, and it doesn't have to be hip hop. All right, you see me, we listen to different stuff. It's not all mainstream. Listen to this one. It's called Heroin. I don't know if am I gonna get demonetized? I'm not monetized. What am I talking about? It's called Heroin by Thornhill. GNX is a very solid modern hip hop album. That's the most like scholarly way to say that sentence. Like, this is good rap. Like, what? But does it live up to Kanye's earlier discography? No, it doesn't, but does it really matter? No, it doesn't. That's the point. That's a good point. It's okay to not be as good. You can still like it and admit it's not the greatest thing in the world. That's what music's for, to be honest. It's a fun time and possibly Kendrick's best aux album. Yeah, sure. But I don't see myself listening too much to the songs from it later. It's a really good album, and I recommend it if you like modern hip hop, but overall, it's a strong 7. Decent to strong 7. I like that this review is very straightforward and doesn't feel they need to overcomplicate, except that first 2 lines or whatever. So why did he specify modern hip-hop album? Is he saying that it doesn't compare with his older stuff, which I agree with, and that it doesn't compare with anything from that time? If that's what it is, if that's what Jerry Lamone is saying, that's not how it works. Music isn't good or bad because of the time it was released in. There's stuff that came out 20 years ago that is better than stuff that came out today within the same genre of whatever it is. And there's probably stuff that came out this month that's better than something that came out 30 years ago. But yeah, I do agree it's his best aux album, right there next to Damn, since it has, you know, like hype bangers, but also has some chill songs that go well at night. 7 out of 10 is respectable. Our boy Rack says, a well-deserved victory lap and love letter. I'm gonna be real honest with my review. Figured you would be. You didn't really have to specify that, but thanks. What's the point of writing a lying review? Where are you ever like, yeah, I like it, but I'm gonna go on this website and give a well thought out reason for why someone wouldn't like it. Drop a 4 out of 10 and call it a day. Like, what? Much like Kendrick did for this time, this review will be out on a whim after my first listen. We already know what I think about that. Well, honestly, by simply the end of track 2, I could tell that this was a very personal project, but not in the ways we've seen with the rest of his discography. Sure, this album is a love letter to the West Coast sphere and all it encompasses. Production akin to what we would find on Nipsey tracks and the tracks that encompass. Bro, stop saying encompasses, bro. Pick a different, find a new word, search up on Google or Bing if you want to. Look up synonyms for encompasses. I promise you'll find new words. An adaptation from modern soul sampling technique, as well as a little tinge of modern R&B in there, surprisingly. Also what feels like the SOS track that Kendrick was going to originally be on with Luther is here as well for some reason. Anyways, how does this sound lyrically? Well, it clearly has its moments, but mostly it's really not as introspective as his past efforts. But again, it doesn't need to be. I like to imagine him in his room listening to the first 2 songs, thinking this is going to be an introspective experience. Then getting to Hey Now and going, never mind, I guess. I assume this is Kendrick's first LP release under his own label. Actually, it's an album. Truly bringing the circle back to its beginning. This is his own shit, born and bred, and groomed to and grew him to be touched and forced.
What do you mean by that?
And churned through the creative efforts and dropped all on his own accord completely. I think that powerful message as a whole is incredibly inspiring in and of itself, which is ultimately what I believe he's trying to do for his West Coast conglomerate and in turn the world. Yeah, this is a good point. A lot of artists are controlled by labels to make certain types of music in a certain way or on a certain time, which can take away the artistic process and intention behind it in the first place. So it's cool to see that one of the biggest artists in the world makes the art the way they want to, when they want, how they want, and have it be well received like it is being right now. It sets a good precedent, so that's always good. Biggest con though, I feel like the struggle here for me, on the first listen mind you, is akin to the one found on Chromacopia. They're blips of memorability, but ultimately it feels like the lyrical ability and the instrumentation never peak or synchronize with one another to create intense moments of memorability. Either the lyrical department is high and the tracking instrumentation is falling by the wayside, or the other way around. That's kind of how a lot of music works though. If you have a beat going insano mode, then it takes away the message depending on how it's delivered. Kendrick and Tyler tend to rap in a way that the focus is more so on what they're saying, more so than the beat, if what they're trying to say is the focal point of the track. This leaves moments in LPs like the aforementioned Chromacopia, Thought I Was Dead, and to a lesser extent Sticky, where sirens are blaring at all angles, few and far between and lacking when they do appear in the songs like Peekaboo and Man at the Garden. But again, say it with me now, it doesn't need to be blaring all the time. Ultimately, this Kendrick LP, it's an album, is still a Kendrick Lamar effort, so it's great, duh. But honestly, it's his least compelling and arguably his worst to me. Still says a lot that it's so good, it would be some incredibly successful rapper's best, I can't lie. At least he wasn't lying. But yeah, Kendrick's worst is still a lot of people's best and better than people's best. Here are some strong opinions from Big D 3500. How big we talking though? Just let me know. Pretty bad. I guess I like the instrumentals on Squabble Up and TV Off. Even the compliments are still like, I guess. He's not even super sure about those. Just about everything vocally is done wrong though. And this one, I'm not even going to try to say he's wrong or anything. I just find it funny. I'm really left speechless when it comes to how much worse this is than something better from him like Section 80. There's no way that someone can be beloved by critics and put something out like this in their biggest year. I guess there was a way. If you disagree with my assessment of Kendrick Lamar, go ahead and listen to him. Okay, I will. If you either have not heard of him or you agree that he is generationally glazed, this is the type of album that would be better if you just skip it. Generational glazing is a new one to me. I'm gonna use it though, thanks. I don't even think like this guy is like a Drake stan or anything. He just doesn't like the project and it's fine. This one sure is something. Am Thy Table. As always, I can't expect too well written lyrics from any rap genre. Right off the bat, I have a few problems. Not only does he say as always, which means he's usually disappointed, but saying rap doesn't have any well written songs, beyond ignorant and naive. I don't know what rap he's listening to. Probably just the most absolute mainstream songs, which tend to not be the deepest in the category. But if you just scratch below the surface even a little bit, you will find well-written songs. Just listen to Denzel Curry or something, or Jid. Melt My Eyes starts off strong. They are generally not too great here either, but not bad enough level to make me hate it. I said they're not poorly written songs, they just weren't all made to have a super deep, impactful message for the most part. Like he literally says on the first track of the album, the backing tracks sound okay. Very much a listenable album of music. I guess I don't mind the rather aggressive / angry streams of vocalization over some psych beats in the background. So his main problem just seems to be the lyrics, honestly. But he likes the instrumentals and the vocals. Then try not to pay attention to what he's saying if you like the way that he is saying words. You'll have a much greater time if you don't think about it too much. Not Like Us Deluxe. Deadass disappointed as fuck Kendrick Lamar dropped a Drake album with his radio hits and not his usual lyric shenanigans that made him a GOAT. I'd rather listen to Kendrick Lamar explaining the importance of Deuteronomy in the lives of black people in USA than this. It's cool he brought out Roddy Ricch. Oh, shout out Roddy Ricch for real. A Drake album with radio hits is a wild statement. Is he saying that Drake albums don't have hits? That's like the main thing going for them. But why Deuteronomy and not something else like Leviticus? Bro sure was cooking something with his take. The food probably wasn't good, but it was something. Alright, now here is what your favorite songs say about you. If your favorite song is Whacked Out Murals, you probably like low-key bangers and the fact that he's just saying whatever he wants and appreciate the instrumental, or you only listen to the first track and then stopped. If Squabble Up is your favorite, then your favorite line from Not Like Us was probably 69 God. You like West Coast production, are extroverted, and are probably kind of annoying. Luther, you chill. I don't got much to say about you. Man at the Garden. You like to pay attention to what the artist is saying. You like to listen to albums from the start to the finish, and you're a actually person. If your favorite song is Hey Now,
you know the last one figure, he was Magneto.
a Magneto reference, the GOAT mutant. If this is your favorite, you like when the feature carries. Reincarnated. You cool as hell. You care about the message, but also how it's presented. You probably pull mad girls and dress something like this. TV off. You like Mustard and Goku. You are the type to cut your grandma off if she don't see it how you see it. If you like Dodger Blue as your favorite song, Damn is probably your favorite Kendrick album. You're the type of person to trip an old lady, then throw $1 on her and ask how much it cost. Heart Part 6, you like the Heart series and throw shade on people who don't like it the same way you do because they can't comprehend it. Also, you're a D1 Drake hater. GNX, you probably only own leather jackets and bootcut jeans, and you drive the closest car that resembles the Buick. Gloria, you're just trying to be different, to be honest, because like, no, it's not your favorite song, bro. Quit lying. That's all she wrote. I'm she.